This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, I want to share with you one halachic inyan, a brief halachic inyan, unbelievable, something I was never really oimed on. And the second night of Yom Tif, I was in a shul, and they had the Sefer Shelah HaKadosh, so I opened up the Shelah HaKadosh, and I saw something, oyam b'noira, an amazing thing. And that is, when you take your Lulav and Etrog, what do you pick up first? Your Lulav or your Etrog?
Lulav.
When you put it down, what do you put down first?
Etrog.
Your Lulav or your Etrog? Okay, so I never saw in the Mishnah Berurah, the Mishnah Berurah does not discuss this inyan. So, if the Mishnah Berurah doesn't talk about it, you figure, pick them, you have a choice. You have a choice. So I saw the Shelah HaKadosh says you do not have a choice. You pick up the Etrog first. And then you pick up the Lulav. And when you put it down, you put down the Lulav first. And then you put down the Etrog.
How?
Why? Well, why? Says the Shelah HaKadosh, in the name of a Sefer of Drush, Even Shvab, he says that the Lulav and Etrog are analogous to the Tefillin Shel Yad and the Tefillin Shel Rosh. The Etrog is Tefillin Shel Yad. The Lulav is like the Tefillin Shel Rosh. And therefore, first you pick up the Etrog, and then you pick up the Lulav. Because again, he doesn't explain, but if we take the analogy a little bit further, we know the Tefillin Shel Rosh has more Kedusha. We put on the Tefillin Shel Yad and then the Tefillin Shel Rosh because Malin B'Kodesh V'Ein Moridin. So therefore, says the Shelah, you have to pick up the Etrog first and then the Lulav. And when you put it down, the same way, as long as you're wearing Tefillin Shel Rosh, you must be wearing Tefillin Shel Yad, and that's why you take up the Tefillin Shel Rosh first. Therefore, when you put it down, you have to put down the Etrog first, and put down the Lulav first, and only then put down the Etrog. That's what the Shelah says. The Shelah takes it further. Shelah says, what if you took your Lulav and Etrog, and now you have to give it to your friend who doesn't have a Lulav and Etrog? You're not allowed to hand it to him. Because if you hand it to him, one of you will be doing the wrong thing. Because I have to put down my Lulav first. But you have to take the Etrog first. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put down my Lulav and give it to you? You have to take my Etrog first. I'm going to give you my Etrog first? No, I have to put down my Lulav first. The only thing you're allowed to do, you put it down on the table, and then so you put down your Lulav, then you put down your Etrog, he takes the Etrog, then he takes the Lulav. So I was thinking, I don't think I ever saw anybody do this. I think most people take the Lulav first.
Yeah, but we nifsak la'alacha for Faradim for sure, to take the Lulav first and do the bracha.
Where is it nifsak?
That's what the Rabbi Ovadia specific says.
The Shelah, I believe, came before Rabbi Ovadia, right? Okay, that's what the Shelah says. The Shelah says, you're mechuyev to take the Etrog first, and then the Lulav, and you put it down, you put down the Lulav and the Etrog. But then I was even more shocked because the Magen Avram quotes this lahalacha. Magen Avram is Siman Tafresh Nun Aleph Sif Ches. He says Yital Tchila HaEsrog. First you take the Esrog. Uchshem Esalik Yisalik Halulav, and you put the Lulav down first. Dumya de Tefillin V'lachein Lo Yitnenu Lechaveroi B'Yadoi. You should not give it to your friend in his hand. You put it down and he takes it. He quotes the Shelah. Okay. Comes along the Noda B'Yehuda in the Dagul Mervava, and then Noda B'Yehuda has very choice words for the Shelah. Noda B'Yehuda, by the way, there's another Noda B'Yehuda, Tshuva in the Noda B'Yehuda, where, by Hilchos Nida, a woman has to count 7 clean days. So the Shelah holds that this is a mitzvah, and a woman has to count Sfira. Hayom Yom Rishon L'Sfira, Hayom Yom Sheni L'Sfira. So Noda B'Yehuda says, Shelah, you're a holy man, but oihev mitzvahs, la yizba mitzvahs. You love mitzvahs so much, you're inventing new mitzvahs. You're not satisfied with the mitzvahs of the 613, you're creating a new mitzvah. There's no mitzvah of Sfiras HaOmer for a woman. Yeah. However, the Noda B'Yehuda has some more choice words. He says like this: Davar zeh sheyisalek halulav tchila hu vadai shigaga. This comment of the Shelah, quoted by the Magen Avram, is a mistake. Now, first thing he attacks is the halacha you have to put down the lulav first. Why did the Shelah say you have to put down the lulav first? Because just like whenever you're wearing tefillin shel rosh, you have to have tefillin shel yad on, so too whenever you're holding your lulav, you must have an etrog in your hand. And based on that, the Shelah says you have to put down the lulav first. So ask the Noda Yehuda, come on. Everybody knows that even the Gemara doesn't know why you have to right? What do you take off first? Shel yad or shel rosh? Shel rosh. And the Gemara asks, why do you take off the shel rosh first? And the Gemara gives an answer. But whatever that answer is, it doesn't apply to your lulav and etrog. And therefore he says, Zeh vadai ta'asu. It's a mistake. It's a mistake to say you have to put down your lulav first. But then he goes on to the next thing. But even this halacha that you have to take the etrog first, you cannot learn from tefillin. He says, didn't the Shelah HaKadosh see the Rambam and Tosfos and the Rosh and the Tur? Everybody knows. There's a question, by the way. How do you pick up your lulav and etrog? Well, once you pick it up, you're yetz to the mitzvah. So how do you make the bracha? So everybody knows. Shulchan Aruch says, what do? Yivarech al natilas lulav. You make a bracha on natilas lulav. V'shechianu koidem sheyital ha'esrog, before you take the esrog. Right? You know the Shulchan Aruch says, you don't do this business of turning it upside down. You take the lulav, and while the esrog's on the table, you make the bracha. Or the second option is you turn the esrog upside down. Or the Vilna Gaon says the best option is have in mind not to be yotze the mitzvah until after the bracha. But it's clear from the Shulchan Aruch that what do you take first?
Lulav.
The lulav. So therefore the Noda Yehuda, and also this is the opinion of the Sfas Emes, and I believe Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach also held this way. You take the lulav first, and when you put it down, you do not have to put down the lulav first. You could put down the esrog. So again, it's a very interesting machlokes that you should be aware of between the Shelah and the Magen Avram. The Shelah and the Magen Avram say lulav and esrog is like tefillin, which in a way, perhaps, there's a Tosfos and Masechta Moed Katan. Why don't those who do not wear tefillin on Chol Hamoed, why not? But you need an ice. The answer is that the lulav and esrog itself is an ice. So here we see it. There's an analogy between the lulav and esrog and tefillin. The Shelah HaKadosh says the esrog is like the tefillin shel yad, the lulav is like the tefillin shel rosh. You have to take the esrog first and put down the lulav first. But the Noda Yehuda says there's no analogy at all. Tefillin is a separate inyan. You're allowed to take the lulav first, and you're allowed to put down the esrog first. And with that, what do we paskin like? The Shulchan Aruch seems to say you take the lulav first. Okay? And I wish you all a good moed.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.